Neil Monroe stars as Quentin Nickles in The Midnight Shadow Mystery with Sarah Orenstein and Peter Millard.
Who's there? What is it? Oh, what do you want? Oh, my God, a knife. Stop, I say, or I shall call for a constable. My husband is the mayor. Leave my purse. No! Help! Oh, thank you, sir. You saved me. I owe you my life. Sir? Wait, sir? Who are you? Wait! Come back! After the charity meeting, I decided to walk along Center Street and see for myself how those poor souls were living. My carriage followed, but I had outdistanced it when I was accosted. As I struggled with the villain, a shadowy figure appeared, drew a sword from his cane, and soundly thumped the robber unconscious with the handle.
A sword cane. Not too many of those about. Mrs. Bullock, your driver should have paid more attention and not lost you. Thankfully, the scoundrel's in custody.
Yes, his name is Ewan Brett, a recent immigrant with 2 children and a wife sick with consumption staying at the House of Industry. Says he was desperate to find food money.
So, what's required, Chief Constable?
To find this mysterious, gallant man who saved my life. I wish to thank him.
You know, Nichols, this is the second report from a citizen who was saved from harm by a stranger who also didn't dally afterwards. Might be the same fellow.
Yes. Well, as for finding him, sir, it's some formidable task.
This is of interest to me and Mayor Bullock, Nichols.
Oh, well, sir. What interests you and the mayor fascinates me. Some details, Mrs. Bullock. Height, weight, hair.
He wasn't a tall man, about 5'6" or 7, I'd say, and slight build. His hair was covered by a black hat. In fact, he was dressed all in black, and a mask covered his face.
A mask?
Yes, a dark bandana.
I see. Any distinguishing marks? His gait, a limp, perhaps?
Oh, no. He was very graceful. He moved like a dancer, and he never spoke.
Well, perhaps someone saw him leaving. I'll get on it. What time did all this happen?
Midnight.
One thing, Nichols, Mrs. Bullock never did find her purse. Somehow it got lost in the shuffle.
I'm not overly surprised, sir. I'll wager this shadow fella fought Brett for the privilege of stealing Mrs. Bullock's purse.
But you said a crowd gathered. Perhaps someone else took it.
Oh, possibly, Abby, but why the dickens did this chap risk his life, if not for gain?
Maybe this headline in the newspaper explains it. Midnight Shadow saves mayor's wife.
Midnight Shadow, let me see that. Tuesday was a night of high intrigue in downtown Toronto, when a mysterious hero leapt courageously into the fray of a brazen robbery and saved the life of Mayor Bullock's wife. Oh, good God, look at the sidebar. Ontario Constabulary Detective Quentin Nickles invited to find hero and thank him for doing his police work. Did you write this, Wellington?
Oh, no, it's Milton Green's byline. He's never been an admirer of yours.
Wellington, there was another case of someone helped under similar circumstances. Find out what you can. I'll now see you tomorrow. So what'd you find out?
You're not going to believe it, but this Midnight Shadow...
Stop calling him that ridiculous name.
Well, what shall I call him?
Just go on.
Well, this fella is getting quite a reputation among the underprivileged of Toronto. Seems that for the last month he's been giving money, food, and even fuel to families in need. Coincidentally, it matches a rise in robberies by someone
with the same general description. It's amazing.
Yeah, it seems this do-gooder drops his gifts, knocks on the door, and people come out to see a silent black figure fading into the mist.
Fading into the mist? We haven't had mist here for weeks. Enough of the hyperbole. There was another story this morning about this chap. Apparently he wrote a note to Milton Green questioning the abilities of the police to keep civil order in this city and the political will of our elected officials to see that they do. Anything else?
Well, I did talk to another crime victim, a lady volunteering at the poorhouse. She claims a fella pushed her down and tried to rob her purse a week ago, but a figure dressed in black appeared and frightened him away. She said she might remember more if she talked to you.
Really? No, very well. What's her name?
I'm not allowed to tell you. Just go to the House of Industry on Elm Street and ask for the society lady.
Mrs. Gascoigne.
Inspector Nickles. I thought you might be inclined to look me up again.
Well, this is the last place I
That
should...
you'd expect to find me? Oh, just because I'm a woman of means doesn't prevent me from helping others less fortunate in society.
No, of course not. Mr. Wellington seemed to feel you had more information to share.
I do. Perhaps we could share a coffee someplace?
Yes, I suppose.
Good. It's so special to see you again, Quentin. I trust you've been well. Oh, and how is Dr. Lapierre? Still trailing you about, is she?
Abby is a valued asset in my investigations.
Well, that, of course, is what I meant.
Yes, well, seems you certainly have your work cut out for you here.
The conditions of the poor in this city are dreadful, Quentin. They have so little. Last winter, homeless people froze to death at night, pressed against the windows of well-heated banks and insurance company buildings. And this is 1898, not 1798. But I hope we will soon be able to convince these bastions of the privileged to open their doors and their hearts to the homeless.
And I'm sure you make a formidable champion for the poor.
Not formidable enough, I fear. So, what is it you would care to know about my little misadventure?
Well, what do you know about this chap the press call the Midnight Shadow?
The mystery man is someone who helps the poor, protects the weak, and I fear is treading on the toes of police and other city officials. But my assailant's name is Archibald Lampkins, and he's currently a resident of this establishment.
He's making a mockery of us. 2 boys reported that last evening some ruffian stole their ball while they were playing, and this shadow fellow appeared, just appeared, mind you, and the ruffian gave their ball back and fled. Poppycock, if you ask me. But the newspapers love it. The Star is turning this robber into a national hero who saves women, protects children, feeds the poor, and probably walks people's dogs.
Yes, but Toronto is not even our exclusive jurisdiction.
It doesn't matter. This reporter, Green, is having a great laugh about it in his columns. Now find out who the Midnight Shadow is, what's his game, and put an end to it.
Yes, sir. It's someone with a conscience, and based on what I've learned, someone who knows where the needs are greatest.
Someone informed. Perhaps an inside job. An aid worker?
That's possibly. It would explain Emerald's case.
Emerald Gascoigne?
Yes. She was a robbery victim on her way home from her volunteer position at the poorhouse.
I see. What pearls of wisdom slipped from her lips.
Well, apparently she knew her assailant, Archibald Lampkins, and interceded so that he was not arrested.
And?
Well, when interviewed, Lampkins claimed to have been paid by someone to attack, but not hurt Mrs. Gascoigne.
Did he know who?
No. Says he met this person in a dark alley, and then had to liquor himself up to get the courage to perform the deed.
You believe the Midnight Shadow paid Lampkins to attack her so he could save her?
Well, why not? More press, more fame. After all, it can't always happen on a crime scene, so occasionally he has to construct one.
Inspector, Abby, it's happened again. 2 men got into a fight outside a bar on Front Street. Just when things got out of hand, our hero stepped in, mask and all. But when one of the men pulled a pistol, the Midnight Shadow ran him through with a sword. This time, he's involved in murder.
I told you, Inspector, the letter from the Midnight Shadow vanished from my desk. Someone took it.
You should be more careful, Mr. Green. That letter was a valuable piece of evidence I could have used to find this fella.
Well, perhaps someone else wished to help protect the identity of a hero who's doing so much good in the city.
Hero? Last night he killed a man. Will that be on your front page?
Not front page. It was an unfortunate accident.
So this chap is front page material until he slips up, and then you conveniently play down his crime.
I'm not going to convict anyone in the press before they've had a hearing. Least of all, someone dealing with rampant crime and terrible poverty in the city as best they can.
It's a pity you didn't extend the same consideration to the rest of us. Well, I suppose you bear the weight of those decisions on your conscience, Mr. Green?
I do, Inspector.
Yeah, well, I have to find a killer before he kills again.
From what I heard, the citizen was protecting the lives of those in the line of fire when the drunkard pulled a gun.
Matter for a jury to decide, sir. However, if you know and are concealing the identity of this man...
Oh, why, Inspector, I do believe your own biases are showing. For instance, why are you so certain it's a man?
Now that your instruments are boiled, what next?
Nothing. I'll see to them later. Daniel, you know, from everything we've heard about this Midnight Shadow, what is to prevent him from being a her?
Well, nothing, I reckon. Just not the sort of thing a lady does.
Think of the descriptions. Slight of figure, graceful, petite in comparison to a man, never speaks, someone with a social conscience. And it takes skill rather than strength to handle a sword. Fencing is also practiced by women.
Well, you've got a point, but it doesn't bring us any closer to who?
Emerald Gascoigne.
Emerald? I don't think so.
Oh, wait, hear me out. She has a social conscience, or she wouldn't be volunteering. Second, I checked, and she fences regularly at the University of Toronto. She rides horses for sport, and finally has a certain fascination with our inspector. I'm sure it would give her some sort of perverse pleasure to match wits with him.
Well, I suppose anything is possible.
Now, of course, Quentin would never believe anything negative about Emerald, so we'll have to be careful.
What are you suggesting?
That we play detective, that we carry on a separate investigation of our own, and see if we can prove Emerald is the Midnight Shadow.
And what if Quentin finds out?
Then, of course, we'll have to lie.
Look at the colors the sunset is making on Lake Ontario.
Lampkins now says he never saw this chap at all, that you just shouted the Midnight Shadow and he ran.
All right, you have me. I never actually saw him. I just used his name to send Mr. Lampkins packing, and then I phoned Mr. Green.
To let him know of what had transpired.
Actually, to let you know, Quentin. I knew that sooner or later you'd come calling. What a delightful evening.
Mrs. Gascoigne.
Call me Emerald, or I shall not give you any more information.
If you never saw him, Emerald, you're leading me on a wild goose chase.
I never saw him that night, but perhaps I have seen the Midnight Shadow at other times, skulking in the dark corners of alleyways, leaving food at the houses of the poor, watching over vulnerable streetwalkers.
But you don't have a name.
Not yet, but I have no doubt that I will. And you, Quentin, will be told. I promise.
Now watch that cold card, Abby.
Oh, all right. Oh, this letter was dropped off at my clinic for you.
Oh, why at your clinic? Hello. What's this? Letters cut from a newspaper to form a message. How clever. Inspector Nickles. I had no choice in the matter a few days ago. It was kill or be killed. Though I may be causing you some discomfort, realize I am on your side. As for finding my identity, I think not the Midnight Shadow. This fella believes his own press. Who left it?
No idea. It was pushed under the door.
You know, this case reminds me of one at Scotland Yard. And we had a Robin Hood sort of chap running amok. I could never seem to catch him for the life of us.
You have him, Nichols?
Not yet, Chief Inspector. He ran down this alley, They're searching it now.
Are any of the men armed?
Oh, yes, sir. We have 2 revolvers, just in case.
We must get him. He's making a monkey out of us in the papers. Robin Hood, indeed. He has gentlemen thinking the streets of London aren't safe at night if one carries a heavy purse. Is our decoy all right?
Constable Prime, yes? He merely got a look at the fellow who ducked and ran. Same chap. He had it on again.
What's on?
Prime said he carried a stuffed rucksack on his back. Again, saw it as he turned and ran.
But how does he disappear so easily, Nichols? There one moment, then gone. Our men are getting discouraged.
Yes, I know, sir. There's Prime. Oh, damn and drat, he's signalling our man's escaped again. Come on, sir. I know this alley. There's no escape from here, Robin Hood or not. There. You see? It's a dead end.
This rapscallion must be apprehended. The papers are starting to make a hero out of him because they think he gives a few shillings to the poor. It's nonsense. He keeps it to himself.
Oh, come on. Where are you? Constables, don't miss a thing. There's no way out unless this villain sprouted wings.
He might have left a rope hanging down the wall and then climbed it and pulled it up after him.
No, he only had a minute or so, sir. That has to be it.
Well, explain yourself.
The rucksack, that's how he did it. Where do you hide when there's no place to hide? In plain sight, of course. Do you know how many coppers do we have out here tonight, sir?
6, counting Prime.
Yes. Well, I see 7. And look here.
Oh.
An empty rucksack.
You mean he's dressed... Well done, Inspector. I dare say it's time we did a roll call, wouldn't you say?
Indubitably, sir. Indubitably.
Quentin, over here.
Oh, my God, it's her. Can't we even go to dinner?
Dr. Lapierre. What a pleasure.
No doubt. How are you, Mrs. Gascoigne?
Doing extraordinarily well, thank you. Though very busy.
I hear you are helping at the House of Industry.
Yes, I feel one must give back to society. Do you do any volunteer work, Doctor? Or does your, I'm sure, lucrative practice keep you too engaged?
I'll just be outside having a cigar.
Stay where you are.
Righto.
Actually, dear lady, I'm afraid you fail to possess a franchise on good works. My inner city practice is busy, but hardly lucrative, since many of my patients are also indigent.
Well, perhaps I could help out at your clinic sometime.
Oh, you would need a medical education to do so. I believe you are schooled in other arts.
Oh, quite correct. I was raised to be a lady. I excelled at finishing school, a requirement for anyone of good breeding. Did you attend one, Doctor?
No. I was schooled by the Sisters of Mercy, who felt that integrity was more important than knowing how to use a lady's fan to attract a male's attention.
Oh, no. No, finishing school was much more than that. It also taught us how to keep the male animal interested.
I'm sure you excelled there as well.
I did. And do.
Abby, we're being summoned to our table.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why are we riding aimlessly about the streets of Toronto in a carriage at midnight?
Oh, yes, it's getting chilly back here. Hand me that robe, Daniel.
First of all, we aren't wandering aimlessly. This is a planned operation. And with some luck, we may even encounter a crime or two. Abby's here in case someone gets hurt.
Look over there. A man's being robbed.
Whoa. Post your weapon. Let's see what happens.
Is this what I think it is, Quentin?
Shh. Yes, it's staged. But nothing there. Get up!
Ruse.
Yes, one more ahead, around this corner.
Oh, I see it. There's 3 men ahead.
There should only be 2. Get up! Look, he's running.
It's him. It's the Midnight Shadow.
You there! Stop in the name of the Queen! I'll try to pull alongside. You jump in, Wellington.
At this speed, I'll be skinned from nose to toe.
Oh, don't be a mama's boy. Get him! He's round at the corner.
Where did he go?
Whoa!
He's vanished into thin air.
He did no such thing. He went down that alley, or down that street, or even into the sewer. He didn't vanish. He's flesh and blood like the rest of us.
If I knew more, I'd tell you more.
Well, we very nearly caught this shadow last night, and we will eventually. And then we'll have a trial for murder. And if I find out you knew anything, you shall stand beside him in the dock as an accessory after the fact, reporter or not. Do I make myself clear, Mr. Green?
Perfectly clear, Inspector, but don't take your frustrations out on me if your little charades don't work. This person is a hero.
Person? Never man? Never he? Do you know if it's a woman?
No. That's why I don't label the Midnight Shadow.
Midnight Shadow be damned. I can tell you that there is a shift in the public attitude, and there'll have to be something pretty spectacular to regain the public's confidence after that killing. Good day to you, sir.
Inspector, wake up.
What the devil? It's open.
Get dressed, Inspector.
What time is it?
A little after midnight. There's a hell of a fire downtown, and the Midnight Shadow is there.
It's completely out of control. Thank God for the Midnight Shadow's help. He was here before anyone else and woke people out. Got them out in time.
How convenient. How did it start, Chief?
We suspect arson, but we'll have to confirm it.
Where's this fella now?
I'm not sure. Men, move the pumper over there. Put down those two houses next door. Don't let it spread.
Chief Crow, Quentin, I just came from a woman over there. She can't find her baby girl. She's hysterical. She thinks the child might be in number 11.
Number 11's already ablaze. Men, put all the hoses on number 11. There may be a child inside.
Chief, can you get some men inside?
Give us a minute. We'll have to douse the flames at the door.
Come on, Wellington, let's see what we can do.
Quentin, come back here. You can't go in there.
Look, that figure on the roof.
It's him. And he's got the baby in his arms. But there's no way down.
The fool. Chief, a blanket.
Take your food around that fireman there.
God, it's hot here. Grab the ends of the blanket, Wellington. We'll form a catch-all. The baby! Can you drop it here? That's right. Then get ready to jump yourself.
Here it comes. Oh, we got him. He's safe.
Wellington, look out. Take the child. Get back.
All right.
So, the dental records match Milton Green?
Yes, but he was seen there covering the fire. Someone said that when he heard about the trapped child, he dashed inside to try and save her. That doesn't mean that he was the Midnight Shadow.
Oh, it was him, all right. He kept trying to lead me astray, hinting it was a woman.
It may very well have been a woman. There were several bodies of both genders found, and we have no records of how many people lived in those buildings or who they were.
Well, there was another thing. Do you remember the note? To glue the letters to the paper to form the note, the writer used wax. That process is used in newspaper offices in the layout and design of pages. Also, he made reference to my charades not having worked, but I never mentioned the nature of my stage-managed robberies to him.
Someone could have used wax to throw you off.
No. I hinted that this hero would have to do something spectacular to regain public confidence, and suddenly we have a fire.
I see. Did you know Emerald Gascoigne is an excellent fencer? That she can ride as well as a man, and physically she matches the description.
Oh, give it up, Abby. Emerald's no Midnight Shadow. Look, there's a meeting at Lemon's office about the whole thing. Care to join us?
I've just come from a meeting with the mayor, the chief of the Toronto police, the editor of the Star, and it was agreed that Milton Green will go down as a hero of Toronto.
How can you identify Green as the Midnight Shadow when so much else points to it being a woman?
A woman? Not likely.
Well, I disagree with Hero, sir. I believe he set that fire himself as a venue for more manufactured heroism.
Theories aren't proof. We feel that Mr. Green had been writing about crime, poverty, and inequality for so long he felt compelled to do something to help those in need. He chose an alter ego to help even out society's inequalities.
Yes, and built an ego-rich reputation through his own writing.
Yes, but we have too few heroes these days, Nickles. He captured the public's imagination, brought hope to many, and was a champion for the underdog. In short, he exhibited the best we can hope for in our flawed state.
He? The Midnight Shadow is Emerald Gascoigne, and she's alive and well.
Emerald Gascoigne?
Yes.
Really, Doctor? A hypothesis like that is more in keeping with Mr. Wellington's fiction novels. So, you have the story, Inspector. I expect you to support it in the press.
It's been a week now, and no sign of our shadow, nor Emerald.
Which says it was green all along.
Not conclusively. Just supposing it was Emerald. This press announcement allows her to retire, free of any charges.
God, I hate unresolved cases.
So, you admit there is a possibility it was someone else?
A possibility, yes, but why pick Emerald, Abby?
Oh, call it feminine intuition. But I think she wanted a connection to you. She wanted to match wits with someone she admired, and to better them.
Folderol.
You could continue to investigate her, Inspector. Though I guess, as a suspect, she's lost her chance with you.
Chance? And what chance would that be, Quentin Nickles?
Wellington, it's true. There can be an urge to kill.